Hello everybody, welcome back to the Tim Hands Corner channel, and today I'll be doing the third and final part, hopefully, of the yet to show chapter in this Bigfoot Territorials book, so I'm going to get straight to it, alright? So, I left off where Carl and his friend Jake were going to the cave to go get that thing, so let's start off from there, okay? Jake walked up behind them. What do you go and do for that for? The smell. They've been sweating all day. That thing would have found us in seconds. As it is, I'm not sure he will find us. Carl walked back to their camp and sat down. The sun finally set. All they could do now was listen for the big god. He grabbed a piece of bread and jerky, then handed the rest over to Jake. They stopped moving when rustling arose from the bushes. Neither one breathed. The rustling got louder, and they saw an opening appear in the bushes to the front of them. Carl reached for his father's Winchester, quietly pulling it out. The opening got wider. A snarl rose on the air. A second later, they heard a voice shoo away a horse. Like, shoot! Then saw a tall man come through the opening. As the man approached, Carl recognized it was Wolf. He put a hand on the rifle in Carl's hand and pushed it down. Wolf sat down across from them with an odd look in his face. Why do you do this? You know you will die. Carl shook his head. I lost my whole family to this big god of yours. You might worship him, but he's nothing but a murderer to me. So you want vengeance. You think it will make you feel better? Feel the emptiness inside? Shut up. Why don't you even care? Go back to your reservation. He went to stand up, but Wolf grabbed him. I will help you. He is not in there. He is on the hunt. He will return soon, though. Then we go in. Good plan, okay? Because if these ran right then, they probably would have been ambushed or something. But anyway, Carl just snorted at the native, not trusting him in the least. Jake sat there eating bread and jerky. Carl looked down on his food and realized his appetite had yet to return. The three sat there staring at one another. As the moon rose, they could make out more of the landscape around them. Carl kept his eyes on the cave entrance, and it paid off. He saw something almost as tall as a young bear. The thing was massive, at least 4 feet wide. He wondered if perhaps Wolf was right, and that's big god couldn't be killed. If this thing couldn't be killed, I don't know what could. But anyway, the creature sniffed the air, stopped, turned to look in their direction. Oh boy, they better duck or something. But anyway, he looked closer and noticed it held several long items in his hand. He knew what they were. Spines. Oh, God almighty. The thing collected spines. He would enjoy killing it. It took a few steps toward them and sniffed again. They were going to die, he thought. It could smell them. Carl knew the time had come. Just as he readied himself to fight it, he turned down and went into the cave. He is here. Let him go inside and lay down to rest. We go in 3 hours, get some rest, Wolf whispered. Carl and Jake looked at Wolf. Carl knew he wouldn't be resting with the thing a few hundred feet from him. He planned to hold the Winchester aimed in the general vicinity of the cave for the rest of the night. After a moment of blackness, Carl shot up. Wake up, it's time. How had it fallen asleep? Yeah, I'm surprised it fall asleep if it was smelling them, you know. But imagine it collecting spines. I mean, what are you going to do, eat them? I don't even want to think about it. Oh, God. Glancing at Jake, he realized his friend had slept too. At least they were rested. They checked their weapons, made sure they were loaded and ready to fire. Because they'll be stupid ambushing that thing. But anyway, the sky was getting brighter. Sunrise maybe an hour away. Carl sent up a prayer to his family to protect him and asked God to grant him the strength to kill the beast. Amen to that, brother. Anyway, I would need that strength too, but if I was doing it. But anyway, Jake, you go in first, Carl said. Come on, you're just chicken. Get in there. We got a job to do. Carl nodded and edged his way into the cave. Images of his slain family flashed in front of his eyes. Wolf followed behind them, the torch casting eerie shadows along the walls. Carl looked around, bones strewn all over the floor, the smell of death and decay overwhelming. I would probably throw up if I saw that, but anyway. Jake stepped behind him. He kicked a rock, and in the quiet cave, it sounded like a gunshot echoed off every surface. The approach was to go in there silently. And no, you had to make some echo. Be careful, you're going to get us killed, Carl snapped. Sorry, I didn't mean it. Yeah, you didn't mean it, but it's going to wake him up anyway. Shh. The both of you, or we're all dead. Yeah, I'll be like, clench your lips up. Okay. Wolf walked past them, the light from the torch allowing them to see where they walked. A low growl stopped them all. Wolf turned to look at Carl, the growling sound again, this time louder. Wolf looked down at Carl's stomach. He realized the stomach made the noise. He tilted his head to the side, nothing he could do about it. Wolf shook his head and walked on. Shadows jumped out on the walls, every noise echoing like a cannon in Carl's ears. Then they found what they were looking for. The trail of vertebrae led them right to the big god. The beast stood there, wide awake, and immediately growled at them. Wolf waved a torch at him, and both Carl and Jake fired their guns, aiming for the head. Carl nicked its ear, and Jake got it in the neck. Aim like right in here, or aim in the heart or something, or aim in the head. Dead in the head. Because if he keeps moving around, Lord almighty. Oh, okay. Wolf pulled a blade out of his belt and stuck it in the beast's chest. That would do it. Anyway. The creature let out a howl of rage and swiped at Wolf. Carl reloaded the Winchester and Jake kept firing his revolver. It held 6 shots, and so far 4 of them had been hits. Wolf moved out of the way, but not far enough to avoid getting deep scratches across his chest. Carl lifted the Winchester again and fired the angry animal as the angry animal barreled down on the native. He took a deep breath and waited until he had the perfect shot. Pulled the trigger. Jake screamed, "Relax, I got this." Time slowed down and Carl waited until he could see into its eyes. He fired. The shot landed dead center in the beast's face. Its eyes bled. Its jaw hung off like that. Yeah, you got him. The beast did not know what was going to get him. Anyway, a few strands of flesh or tendon holding it in place. Oh! Yeah, he's dead. If he ain't dead from that, I don't know what. Jake reloaded the revolver and Wolf tried to move, but his injury prevented him from doing anything to help. The big god let out another agonizing howl and began to swing his claws all over the place. Now blind, it was as scary to the 2 boys. Shrieking, Carl threw down the rifle and picked up a stick. He ran toward the thing that had destroyed his life. He struck it as hard as he could, letting out his grief with each blow. The beast swiped at him and made contact. Oh, that's going to hurt. Anyway, Carl fell to the ground holding his arm, the big god's claws making ribbons of his flesh and muscle. Jake ran over to him and pulled him to the edge of the room, then put 6 more rounds into the beast, each one a hit. That's good. Okay. Hope that thing bleeds to death. But anyway, Wolf crawled over to them. He took a leather string off his shirt and handed it to Jake. Tie this at the top of his arm, above where it was slashed. Make it as tight as you can. Jake did as told. Carl cried, not for pain. He had not been able to kill it. I failed. Wolf brought a hand up to Carl's face. It isn't over yet. We failed when we are dead. Now let's finish this. Wolf pulled himself up with the help of Jake, and the both of them got Carl to his feet. The big god still snarled, blood dripping from the holes in his body, its lower jaw now missing. Oh! Ooh! What in the world that thing's still making a growl? Ah! With the jaw missing. Oh, God. I hate to see that, but anyway. Carl looked away the cavern, trying to figure out a way to kill this thing. Wolf sprang into action first. He charged the beast and yanked out his knife easily, dancing out of the way of the creature's blind lunges. Jake had 6 shots left, and once again he made them all count. The head of the beast had taken a beating. It would not take much to finish it off. Carl went over to the wolf and took the knife from his hand. He walked carefully toward the beast, and when he stood within a few feet of the swiping arms, he waited. The big god raised his ruined face and sniffed. Small drops of blood spewed forth into the air. Then the head came down, and Carl knew his location has been pinpointed. A growl of pain or anger, perhaps both, emanated from the beast. It raised a beefy arm as Carl struck and plunged the knife into its abdomen. Oh, yeah, that would make me hurt, but anyway. Oh, God, it's making me hurt thinking about it. But anyway, and dragged it across. He split the big god's belly open the way he'd seen the butcher do countless times. He jumped back as the big god fell to its knees, letting out an eerie, ear-splitting wail, eventually falling over. A pool of blood and internal organs leaked from its body and covered the floor. I did it. I killed the big god. Jake walked up behind him and put a hand on his shoulder. We all did. Now let's get out of here. Carl made his way down the corridor and Jake helped Wolf. When they exited the cave, all three stumbled to the ground, the adrenaline wearing off and the reality of what they had accomplished sinking in. Carl smiled. They then passed out. Yeah, I would too if I was in a big battle. But anyway, Carl woke in sheer agony. He looked around and saw Wolf. Where am I? You're with my people. Your friend told me you would be shipped somewhere bad because you have no family. I spoke with the elders, and they will allow you to stay here if you want. Why are you helping me? I thought you didn't owe me anything. Wolf cast his eyes down. I forget sometimes you are not the one who wronged my people, and your father was a good man. He helped us many winters when no one else would. Carl closed his eyes. He won. He killed the Yeiitsoh and avenged his family. Where he ended up now was irrelevant. He started to feel warm again. He avenged his family. This time, when the tears came, he didn't fight them. I would like to congratulate them guys for conquering their fears and taking down this big demon, Bigfoot. Now, like I always say, a Bigfoot should be left alone. You know what I mean? Like, they're out in the woods for a reason. Let them be. Now, if they come and attack you, then yes, that'd be a whole nother story. It'll be like, go ahead and knock them down. But anyway, I do not want to see Bigfoot using their claws and chopping up. And imagine Bigfoot taking spines. Ooh. I don't know what you could do. Drink spine fluid. Even think about that. Oh, God. But anyway, that's going to be it for now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on those post notifications for more book reading content like this. Now, I'm going to stop reading the Bigfoot stuff and the ghost stuff for now this year, and I'll pick it up back in 2024. So stay tuned for that. And sayonara, everybody.